You're watching the TCMMA podcast.
Let's go back to the top and begin with Conor McGregor, because this story just drives me crazy because we never see the guy fight. He's constantly in the news. You know me, he's always been one of my favorite fighters, but the reality is since I started watching MMA, probably 2014, 2015, McGregor was huge at the time, but he already started getting into boxing. Then he had the one fight with Khabib that didn't go well, and then since then you've seen him like once or twice in like a 7 or 8 year period. But Joe Rogan explains, I don't know if Conor's ever going to fight again. The reality is that guy's partying, and he's partying real hard. I mean, it's just, yeah, I mean, that's all you see is the guy partying. And then, then it's like, okay, I'm getting serious for training camp, and then I'm back to partying, and then we never see him in the octagon. I know that McGregor is behind the scenes training his butt off at different times, but the media is completely against him. So they're going to highlight all the negatives. And if you're Conor McGregor, you need to eliminate them totally. He's not a guy that can get out of the spotlight. He lives for it. He thrives off it. There's a camera, he's going to get in front of it, and it's not always for good reason. So we as fans are going to see all the negative stuff. And it just appears that McGregor's not, whether he is or isn't, perception is everything. And it looks as though McGregor's not serious. He's not serious about fighting. If he was, he'd be back already. And when he wants to come back, is he going to be able to fight? I mean, Eddie Alvarez doesn't believe the UFC will ever let Conor McGregor go. Right? So it's like you're either going to fight in the UFC or you're not. He says, I know how difficult it is to get out of those contracts. Realistically, I think he still has 2 fights left on his UFC contract. This is what we've discussed in the past. Alvarez told MMA Fighting, I just know how difficult it is, especially when you're that valuable to a company. Yeah, the UFC is just not going to let McGregor go. He goes on to say, I haven't been as valuable as Conor, but back when I was basically Bellator's main guy, I know how difficult it is to get out of those contracts. They don't make it easy. And this is the storyline. So he's got 2 fights left. The UFC's in no hurry, because when those 2 fights run out, then, he's going to go somewhere else. So it's like, as a fan, I mean, you want to see McGregor fighting for titles, but he's a long way from that, if he'll ever even get back to that point, if he even wants to. And that's the problem. And the UFC knows that. It's like he just wants to fight any 2 fighters he can, get out of the contract, get some big boxing fights in, and ride off into the sunset. And I agree with Eddie Alvarez 100%. The UFC is not going to make that easy. The UFC is going to keep this guy as long as they can, even if that means he never fights, which also means he can't run out the contract. He can't free himself up. So McGregor's stuck. I mean, he's stuck.
He's gonna fight, he's gonna fight. Hold your breath till the end of the night. Last fight of call, UFC at its height. Bringing that thunder with all his might. Saying, step up, wanna fight? Hold up, think twice. Gladiator, assassin, reckless, no abandon. Walk through that cage, he'll leave your ass.